episode 40 of the Fit Pro podcast. Some of you just don't know how damn successful you are. That is annoying. Let's talk about it. Welcome back to the Fit Pro podcast, listeners. I am your host, Marvin Fayers, and today's episode is episode 40. And I want to get straight to the point. Another quick one for you. This one's going to be called, Do You Know How Successful You Are? We live in a... what am I going to say? We're living through a time where if you haven't created the next Uber, you aren't considered successful amongst your peers, which is the furthest thing from the truth. And I just wanted to address that because success comes in very different forms, no matter what industry you're in. And I know this is called the Fit Pro podcast, but we talk about everything here. We talk about business, we talk about entrepreneurship, we talk about fitness, we talk about everything. And that's where some of the new rebranding is going to be going. I'm looking for a new logo, FYI, to all the people out there that make those freaking logos. Before we get into today's episode, guys, I just wanted to say, just a reminder, so make sure you subscribe on iTunes. I know a lot of you are. If you're not, make sure you head to iTunes and subscribe to the Fit Pro podcast, and you will be able to get this show on demand. It will be downloaded as soon as a new episode comes out, and that's just an easy way for you to enjoy the podcast. If you are on an Apple, that's where you need to go. You can also go this route if you're on Apple or Android. You can download an app called Podcast and Radio Addict, subscribe to the Fit Pro podcast, and you can listen to the podcast on there. I like to make it convenient for you. We do have a website, obviously, but ultimately you want to listen to this podcast while you're doing other things, and that's not being stuck in front of the computer. Unless that's what you're doing, keep doing that. This is how you're going to get there, alright? So, with that out the way, back into today's show. Do you know how successful you are? Sometimes I think people really underestimate what it takes to be considered successful, and that's an individual thing. It is up to everybody to determine what their level of success is, but also not to be delusional that, hey, oh no, I made 200,000 this year, I didn't make $1 million, I'm not successful, blah 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 blah. Do you know how many people get to make $50,000 a year doing their passion? Not many, guys, not many. Do you know how many get to make 100,000 a year doing their passion? Not many. Do you know how many get to make 200,000 a year? Not many. Do you know how many get to make $1 million a year? These are the 1%ers, guys. The 1%ers. Do you know how many get to make $1 billion? That's not. It's such a small percentage that it's unreal. We'll talk about it a little bit later. But one thing I wanted to really say and drum into your head is make sure you know your numbers. Make sure you know what your number is, what you need to get to live your ideal lifestyle. We don't fact check, but the people out there that say these things, say that it only takes you should only be made, well, I'm mumbling a little bit, but to live $1 million lifestyle, it costs $400,000 a year. Think about that. Millionaires don't generally live like millionaires. Millionaires live way more extravagant. But if you want to live like a millionaire, it's $400,000 a year. Don't quote me, I think Gary Vee once said it, but yeah, that's the number. It's $400,000 a year if you want to live like the quintessential millionaire. Do you need that? Probably not. Most people don't need $400,000 a year. Most people don't have the expenses for that. If you're running a business where there's two people and you're killing it, you're crushing it, and you're making over $1 million a year, why the fuck do you even need more than that? One thing I must say, and just from speaking from experience, speaking to my friends that are very successful, the ones that make a hell of a lot of money and are constantly building, are constantly busy. They don't get to enjoy that until later in life. Whereas I'm all about a lifestyle. When I'm making money, and don't get it twisted, we all get into business because we'd like to make money for ourselves. We want to be our own boss. We want to grow by ourselves and chase our passions. That's why. And there's nothing wrong with being a high-level executive or an employee. Some people just aren't made to run their own business or even think about that, and that's great, but also be self-aware that of what you actually need. There's a social norm, a social, let's say, what do you call it? Categorizing that says, oh, if you haven't made X amount of money, you're not successful. But that's fucking bullshit. Just make as much as you need. Make as much as there's plenty to go around. As much as you need. And do you need $1 million? No, I don't. I know I don't. There's a big craze going on at the moment of being an app startup company, making the next Uber, the next Facebook, the next Snapchat. Do you know how many next of those there are? There's approximately 10 apps that make over $1 billion a year. That is it. And the gap between the billion and the hundreds of thousands is massive. Okay? Like the number 200th app on the App Store makes over $100,000 a year. That's all you need. Well, that's all I need. I'm speaking to myself more or less, but anybody else out there like me that's hustling, grinding, take a second, look back and go, wow, could I earn this amount doing a day job? Yes. Okay. And could I earn this amount doing a day job? No. Then you're on the right track. Keep doing that. Keep doing you, and just don't get caught up in the hype. There's a lot of hype out there. There's 13 apps that make $1 billion a year. You'd think there'd be more, but there isn't. And the main question of today is: do you know how successful you are currently? Take a second. Think about it. Write it down. How successful are you? What does success look like to you and your family and the people you care about? Because ultimately, guys, we're all going to be dead in 100 years' time. We can't take any of it with us. We might as well burn bright and try and impact as many lives as possible. Money is a product of creating value, adding value to the marketplace. I'm hoping this podcast can add enough value to the marketplace that I can leave a lasting impact on a lot of people. And if you feel like I have, again, let me know, guys. Leave some reviews on iTunes, let me know. Or let me know via Twitter. I'm always there, at FreeProPodcast. And just let me know. What is your ideal lifestyle? I know, I'll speak about myself for a second. I know my ideal lifestyle is being able to wake up whenever. Obviously, you gotta grind now, but wake up whenever. I've always wanted a Ferrari. That's my Ferrari in the garage with my daily car next to it. I live in an apartment, and I get to go to the beach, get to go to the cafe strip, I get to go travel whenever I want. To live this lifestyle, guys. Guess how much money that would cost? You guessed it yet? Well, I guarantee you didn't, because for me, that lifestyle would cost me $10,000 a month. Do the math. I'm sure you can all do the math. That's less than that's $120,000 a year. That's all I need to be producing to be able to live a lifestyle that I can be comfortable in. And just remember, when you are a business owner, when you create something, especially if it's online, you don't have to go into work. You can do it wherever you want. This is why network marketing is so attractive to people, is because they can do it wherever they want, blah, blah, blah. But the true freedom is on, I believe, internet marketing, creating a platform, creating a content-driven platform to basically get information out there to the people. And that's what the ideal lifestyle looks like to me. And I rambled a bit today, guys, but hopefully you got the point. Do you know how successful you are? Write that shit down. Figure it out. Figure out what your number is. Figure out how much it's going to cost for you to have that car, that house, those holidays. Write it down in a dollar figure. Make it real. Write it down. Write it down. I'm going to say it again. Write it down. Put it everywhere. This is so it keeps you grounded. The minute you hit your number, and if you don't want a massive empire, a lot of people don't, and that's okay. Once you hit your number, go out and enjoy your fucking life. Go out and enjoy your fucking life and tweet the Fit Pro Podcast. That is all I have time for today, guys. Hopefully that hit home. And, I'll catch you on the next one. This is episode 40. Next one's obviously episode 41. I will have Mario Pagiao on. One of my good friends, a business coach, helps fit businesses, let's say gyms, etc., to reach their goals financially, and it's great to see. Guys, a lot of people are afraid to talk about the numbers. I am not afraid to talk about money. This is what we do this for. Let's go. Keep up the grind, keep up the hustle, keep staying motivated and inspired, and inspire those around you. Peace.